Thank you.
recently saw your Angela Davis tribute. Quite stunning. Tell our audience about Angela Davis and why you wanted to make that tribute.
Oh, that one is a couple years old now, even before Drag Race. But it was very important to me even at the time because that was when I first started being known as the woke queen, and I sometimes even, and this kind of talks about the situations in colorism. Sometimes people would say like, "You're not even that dark. Like, why do you think that you have to be like so?" And I was like, "There's plenty of women who weren't that dark that led the charge, and you don't have to be. There's not a quota on how black you have to be to care, And so for me, Angela Davis, who was a Black Panther, who was not afraid to be arrested or to take judges and juries to task, and did so much for the community. She was very much a symbol of inspiration and something that I wanted to be. And that photo really was like a statement to the community that, yes, I know what you think of me, and yes, I will fulfill that task.
We have a question from one of our patrons,
Okay.
Sasha Flick, asks, have the last week's national and global events railing against the death of George Floyd and in support of Black Lives Matter given you hope for meaningful change? Or is it just we've seen this kind of thing happen and then the change not happen? Is it giving you hope?
Um, I definitely do hope. I do hope that this is a movement that stakes. It's definitely happening in a bigger way than it's ever happened before. So that's good. But I remember a long time ago when I learned the lyrics to Michael Jackson's They Don't Really Care About Us. It was for a kind of protest performance. And as I was learning the lyrics, I was very taken aback because here you have Michael Jackson in the 80s saying stuff that is still relevant to this day. And, you think about the civil rights movement and all of the marches and protests that we've been through since then. And here we are yet again. So it does kind of worry me that though these things might put a band-aid on it for a little while, are we going to be doing this again in a year? Are we going to be doing it again in 5 years and 10 years? So I completely understand the need and the value of protesting, but I'm hoping that we can come to a next level that does something that sticks.
Yeah. Another question from David Abercrombie asks, Vixen, is there someone from LGBTQ plus history who inspires your activism that people should be more aware of?
Oh, definitely. Crystal LaBeija is um,
Yeah.
is my guide. I think of Crystal LaBeija like I think of Tyra Sanchez, and that's with a lot of love and admiration. For people who don't know, Crystal LaBeija was a drag queen in New York who noticed a lot of racism and bias in the pageant system. And because of that, she started creating her own pageants to foster love for Black and brown queens. And those pageants became what we know as the ball scene. And so that's where Paris is Burning comes from. That's where Pepper LaBeija comes from. All of your favorite quotes from Drag Race comes from this movement that Crystal LaBeija started. And for me, that is a blueprint for Black Girl Magic, which is also a haven for people who don't feel appreciated because of their skin color. And I'm hoping that in 10 years, 20 years, 60 years, the work that I've done with Black Girl Magic will have grown into something as big as the ball scene.
Yes. So Crystal LaBeija, sweetie, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
And she looked beautiful, but she wasn't beautiful tonight.
Trust me, I can do every quote.
You have not experienced the unparalleled magic of Miss Crystal LaBeija.
Yes. If you think I was untucked worthy, Crystal had it down.
Now, speaking of Paris is Burning, the ball scene, uh, there's been an importance for us to also say, along with Black Lives Matter, to be specific that Black trans lives matter. And a lot Black trans women have really given the spark to our gay culture since the beginning of it in so many different ways. Why is that important to you for us to say? We talked about it earlier. Why is that so important for us to include that and for everyone to understand why it's the same but different?
I think a lot of times we talk about how the gay community feels that because it is queer that it couldn't be racist because we've been through so much. And I think that even trickles into the black gay community is like, well, we couldn't be transphobic because we've been through so much. And it's like, like you're not the only other, and it's okay to take a second to realize that some people have even less privileges than you. Malcolm X said that the most unprotected, disrespected woman in America was the black woman. And I would venture to say that the black trans woman has it even worse in many cases. So I think as we are asking to be recognized and to have our needs heard, I think we have to hear other people's needs too, especially those who have it even worse than us.
Do you want to add anything, Fred?
I mean, I'm with you. I'm with it. I'm like, let's make a movement so we all can stand together. That's the thing. We've been falling apart for so long. It's about time we stand up and stand together.
Yeah, it's like if we really want to get right, we got to get all the way right. And so you can't because as long as we're trying to keep somebody out of the loop, it's you're not equal. Trying to get this Martin Luther King quote right, but there will be, if there's injustice everywhere, then there's no justice anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's not a direct quote, but it's something along those lines. And uh, so I really feel like that's important. If you can't, equality isn't pizza. You're not going to run out of it.
Vixen, is there anything else that you think it's important for our audience to hear, to know during this Pride Month, which is really a month where we need to celebrate and protect our Black brothers and sisters and lift up Black Lives Matter?
um, for me, what's important and what I noticed as everything came to a head is a lot of people who are just being made aware of these things are having trouble digesting it and needing to vent. I'm finding out who thinks that I'm their black friend. When the people who call you for the first time in 3 years, you're like, oh, am I the only person you know? And so what I would say is, while you're coming into this information and learning everything that we've been dealing with our entire lives and for centuries, um, don't don't give us the work. It's your responsibility to educate yourself. It's your responsibility to cope with it because we've been coping with it for a long time. And um, what I would say is, it's been on us for a long time and we've been carrying the burden. And now, as allies, it's your turn.
Well, we're sending you love. Stay safe in Chicago. We'll talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Qween.
I want to give you a chance to talk about something we've talked about in private, which is why it's important to also include Black trans lives matter. And as a Black trans woman, Lady Red, I thought this would be a great opportunity for you to express to the viewers how you're feeling.
Well, y'all know me, and you've seen me on Hey Qween, and you've seen me do a lot of different projects and stuff. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. First and foremost, I'm human. Second, I'm black. I'm for real black. I'm one of them women you see in the street and you just want to hug. That's me. Because I want to spread all of the love and all of the great sides of myself to with everybody. Why not? At the same time, I'm also trans. Yes, that means I have a little more to offer and a little more to hide. But why not just be who I am? And why not love me for who I am? And a lot of times in this society, we forget that trans is a real thing. It ain't just boy and girl, honey. It's boy, girl, trans, man, woman. We are all together in this pot of society. And I just want everyone to know that when you spread love, it comes back to you. When you spread hate, it comes back to you. So I'm always saying, be on the upside, stay positive, love your trans. You ain't got to understand everything. That's the thing. You don't have to understand everything. All you got to do is respect people and love them. I don't understand everything about everybody, and I ain't in their business. Don't be in their business. And you know what? If it's different, don't hate. Don't hate. Love. Try. If you can't even understand, just stand back and say, you know what? I don't know, but I love you. That's all we asking. And this high sense of pride, we need to have that pride, honey. That way we just don't be shaking our butts and our nuts for nothing, honey. We got pride way down deep inside. And remember, I love you like you love me. So you give it to me and I'm going to give it back to you.